What's up, YTPC? Uncle Willie coming to you from the coop on this blistery hot Thursday. Let's go, Brandon. And we go. I wanted to smoke something light and airy. Hopefully it won't get too tongue bitey, or the Dark Fire Kentucky is good any day of the week. Believe me, I smoke it all the time. But I just wanted something different today. So I'm smoking some Esoterica Cardiff. When you go on tobacco reviews and look at it, it just says brand Esoterica, blended by Germain, JF Germains or whatever it is. Manufactured Germains, type Virginias, flavoring anisette. Anisette is a drawn out fancy word for anise. Not anus, anise. When you look up anisette / anise, it's a liquor, and it takes a couple definitions before it gets down and says it's a licorice type flavoring. But it still doesn't come out and say that it's the best licorice flavor, which is black. That is the best licorice of all time, in my opinion. I know there's a majority of you probably don't like it, but I do. Rocking my peace sign. So I'm smoking a pipe that I don't smoke that often. I'm as predictable with this as I am with my tobacco. So you can pretty much know this is caramel of some sort, salted, not unsalted, whatever. It's going to be a caramel iced coffee. So anyway, I'm smoking a pipe that I haven't smoked in a while, and I don't smoke it that often, and I should. I am smoking my Stanwell Bamboo. I think it says shape 107 on there somewhere. Yeah, 107, but it doesn't have enough room, or at least they didn't do it and put the nomenclature on it saying Danish design or whatever. So it's a very nice lightweight pipe. It's a small bowl, so I figured I would smoke some Virginia in it. That way it doesn't have enough time to bite me, hopefully. Just being Virginia with a little anise. Also smoking this pipe because one of our brothers from the YTPC was smoking his Stanwell Bamboo yesterday, which was more Danish design, the way the bowl shape was. This is just a billiard shape, semi-billiard. But this is longer than this, so it's just a, maybe even like a Lavat billiard, being so long with a, who knows, no name on it. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna call it, a Lavat. Settle the score. But here you go, Israel. This is my Stanwell Bamboo. Beautiful pipe. So just got back a little while ago from emissions. What a freaking ripoff. I mean, we haven't had leaded gas in forever. Every car, hell, every car just about since the 70s has had smog control and whatever else that they say is harmful in the state of California. Well, my car ain't in California, so what the hell? Anyway, $14 to get your car to go through emissions, and it's good for 2 years. I had a truck a couple years ago before I got the mobile lounge. I had a little Ford Ranger King Cab. I used to call it Old Red. Or Little Red, I'm sorry. Wouldn't pass emissions. I had a misfire on cylinder 4. So I took it to the guy that works mainly on trucks, lightweight trucks, heavy trucks, whatever. For him to pull the head gasket, pull the head and replace the gasket and everything, it's gonna be about $2,500. I didn't have $2,500 to put it into it, because if I had $3,000, I would have just put a new motor in it for $500 more. So I had my wife call the emissions place because it wouldn't pass emissions. If you have a check engine light on, it won't pass emissions. So I had her call and get me an extension while I tried to figure out how I was going to pay to get this issue fixed. Well, they gave us 6 months. 6 months rolled around, I hadn't done anything with it, because when the check engine light come on, I mean, it stayed on, but when it start running rough, I would just switch the spark plug out in cylinder 4, because where it misfired, it would foul that plug. And spark plugs for that, back in like 4 years ago, the spark plugs for it was only like $4. So I bought a 6-pack of them, kept them in the glove compartment, and every couple months, whenever it started fouling and missing and spitting and sputtering, I just get out, change the spark plug, and it would run fine, run perfect. So when the first extension was running out, I had my wife, I was like, call them and see if we can get another extension. So she called, they gave me another extension for another 6 months. Time went through, a couple spark plugs later. Here it come almost time for emissions. I was like, call them and see if we can get an extension. We'll just keep using the extension. Cost me $4 every 3 months, you know, every 2 months, new spark plug. So she did. I got 2 years worth of extensions that cost me nothing. Well, a buddy told me that if I unplug my battery for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or, pardon me, or, you know, whatever, plug it back in, the check engine light would go off. And he said, then just ride it around for like 30 minutes to put some data in the memory bank, in the computer. So it all made sense. So I had time, emissions was coming up, and it was on a Monday. So Sunday, I unplugged it, waited for a while, put the battery back together. The check engine light was gone. So I rode it around the neighborhood for about 20 minutes, went out, got it up to speed, you know, 60, 70 mile an hour, through the neighborhood. Check engine light never came on. I was like, I'm golden. Cost $14 to get emissions done. So Monday, they had already said, you've been 2 years on extensions that you're going to have to bring the truck in or show proof that it is not running, or I don't have the vehicle or whatever. So I went to work, and emissions is like 3 or 4 miles from where I worked at. Everything was fine Monday. I was going over there. It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I got off at 12. I was heading over there, 1 mile away from emissions. My check engine light came on. So I was like, what the hell? I'll just take it in there. So I took it in there. It failed. $14. I still had to pay that because it failed. And the guy said, you got 6 months to get it fixed. And if you get it fixed within the 6 month period, bring it back and the emissions are free. If you don't have it fixed in the 6 month period, we might be able to do an extension, but since you've already done extension like 4 or 5 times, they might not give you another extension. So at that point, I paid $14 to be able to drive my truck. It was still worth it to me. All the times that I had been putting plugs in, it still didn't make up the $2,500 that it would have cost to fix it. So I wasn't illegal, but I wasn't exactly legal according to the emissions. My truck was a 2000. It was coming up, it was 19 years old. 2019 when I got rid of it. Truck was like not even 20 or 6 months from being 20 years old. And then once a vehicle is like 20 years old or older, you don't have to do emissions. But then it messed up so bad I had to get rid of it. I couldn't hold on to it no longer. But yeah, I was just paying $4 every couple months. So I was paying like $12 a year for spark plugs, $16 a year for spark plugs to drive my truck and not have emissions. Because if it passed emissions, it just had a misfire. All they do is plug that computer. Used to, with the emissions, they used to put a tube over your exhaust, and they read the exhaust fumes, levels of toxins in it or whatever when they did it. And now for the last 15 years, all they do is plug it up to the computer. When I went in there to get it done, I didn't even have an exhaust pipe from the muffler back. I'd had exhaust work done to it, and the guy welded my exhaust from the head to the muffler, and then from the muffler out, it was just bolted on. So from the muffler to the intake or the exhaust, it was welded. And just looking at a truck going with my neighbor. But my exhaust had rusted. I threw the tailpipe in the back of the truck, and they take a mirror and look down in it to look under your vehicle, and they only walk down the driver's side. They were looking for the catalytic converter, and they didn't even know that the truck didn't have an exhaust on it. And even when I took it in for the emissions, when I knew it was going to fail because of the check engine light, they still never knew that the exhaust pipe wasn't there from the muffler back. So you tell me how useful the emissions are when they don't even check everything. Used to, they walked all the way around the truck with that little mirror looking up under to make sure all your exhaust and everything was out to the muffler out, and then they put that thing over top of your exhaust to like I said, measure the toxins in it or whatever it was they did. But yeah. The guy says, all right, you passed, man. You're good until July of 2025. Two more years I can save up for $14 to I don't know, man. Some things just ain't fair. Some things in life just ain't fair. That's all it is to it. And it's not like you can give the guy $20 because they go by the VIN number and it goes in the computerized thing and whatever. So it ain't like the old inspection station where you go in there and get the guy $20 and he puts a new inspection sticker on your vehicle and then out the door you go. Which Maryland, we don't have inspection, we have emissions. Emissions every 2 years. When you get a vehicle, when you're take ownership of a vehicle, your vehicle has to pass inspection, and then after it passes inspection, you ride it till the wheels fall off. Unless you get pulled over and you have a warning or an inspection ticket, or like you've got a cracked windshield and they pull you over or whatever. If they notice something, if you get pulled over for a speeding ticket and they notice something that isn't right, they'll give you an inspection ticket. And all that is something you take into an inspection station and have it looked at and corrected and then signed and send it back into the state police. But to get your car inspected in Maryland, it depends. Every independent inspection station is different. So it could cost you anywhere from $60 to $75, $80, depending on where you take it to get your car inspected. It's not like in Virginia where you go in and pay one set fee for everything. It depends on where you take it when you live in Maryland. It's a gimmick wherever you live. My buddy years ago, his dad worked in Ohio. They lived in Pittsburgh. And this guy came in from Ohio. And I don't know how you can get your car inspected from one state to the other. But when Bill told me this story, that was probably 25 years ago, maybe more, 30 years ago, that his dad was an inspection guy in PA. And this dude come in and trying to get his car inspected, and he didn't have running lights or something. And the guy and his dad says, you failed because you don't have the lights. And the guy says, you mean you got to have lights when you drive? Well, I guess if you only drive during the day, you don't need them, but there's a slim chance you might drive at night sometime. You're going to need those lights. Well, of course, after I get it 20 minutes into a video, I just seen the mailman ride by. And I'm hoping that he has my pipe. But if he does, looks like I'll be doing another video. If he didn't, I'll leave this one up until the pipe comes tomorrow. So remember, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And with that being said, until next time, stuff them and puff them.